Dominic Raab, isn't now the time for a root and branch review of the way in which elections are fought and the way in which money can be allocated at a local and national level? I mean, you say that it was human error, it was an administrative mistake that this overspend took place. I mean, the CPS suggesting that there was evidence to suggest the returns were inaccurate. I think everyone believes that now. I mean, but shouldn't it be a strict liability offence that if you break the rules, that there could be a criminal charge hanging over your head?
Well, look, I think if it's an administrative error rather than anything with any deliberate intent to defraud or stitch up an election, I think that's a totally different thing. But equally, we're not complacent about it at all. And I think what this shows, both the Electoral Commission process but also the CPS and what they've confirmed today, is that actually the accountability mechanisms are in place, and it's about the enforcement of them rather than somehow rewriting the rules. And of course, that's not particularly helpful anyway, because we're just weeks away from the 2017 election.
I think there's also another important issue, which is about how the parties engage with this kind of circumstance. And it is still the case that the Conservatives were, even through the investigation process, they were accused of unreasonable, uncooperative conduct, and that was a delay. There was a delay in the investigation because of that. So I think how the investigations happen, how we make sure that
to be trying to score cheap party political points when the Labour Party had, you know, a similar range of administrative mistakes, I think is a bit cheap.
That's not the case, Dominic. The issue is the concern that there was a delay to the investigation because of a lack of cooperation. And I think that all parties will want to see that they are making sure that they do engage cooperatively where there are concerns.
What's the Labour Party proposing in terms of changing the system then?
I don't think it's about changing the system. I think it is more about saying how do you have...
all three major political parties are fined by the Electoral Commission. It does rather suggest that something should be done.
It is about behaviours, and it is about saying that, I believe it is about saying that if there are concerns and the Electoral Commission is investigating concerns, that there should be a clear expectation that the engagement will be cooperative and there shouldn't be any delays to investigation.
In truth, you know nothing about the Conservative cooperation. The point is you want to make sure the information you're giving the authorities is correct. So to be honest with you, you really know zero about what was happening between the Electoral Commission and the Conservatives. And this is just a cheap attempt to score some political points because your party's doing so poorly and actually talking about the substance of this election.
I think that might sort of want to be seen as a slight deflection, actually, there, Don, because it isn't me saying that. It isn't me saying that.
I've answered the question absolutely squarely.
It isn't me saying that. It is what was said at a time.
I'll just intervene between you two for a second. A bit rich, isn't it, given the five-figure sum that the LibDems have been fined to accuse the Conservative Party of adhering to the letter of the law but not its spirit?
Well, I mean, you know, the Lib Dems, we were fined by the Electoral Commission, but there was never any prospect of us being, us facing criminal charges. We certainly didn't have files passed to the CPS. Certainly, you know,
if the CPS have decided that there are no criminal charges, how's that an indication of anything? Don't you believe in innocent until proven guilty?
Well, I'm only saying that yes, we had a fine which was considerably smaller than the Tories' fine, but there was never needed to be investigated further to see if there was any criminal charges to be answered. But so no, I mean, I think that the wider point that Tim's making is that actually elections are all about money, and that the more money you have, the more the easier it is for you to get your message across.
And that's not a big song and dance about how since the referendum they've been hoovering up money from millionaires and entrepreneurs, and now Tim Farron's turning around and saying, "Oh, we don't like big money in politics." Come on, everyone can see through that.
Let's take you back to your chairman's statement. Patrick McLaughlin said this: "These attacks were politically motivated and unfounded complaints that have wasted police time." On what basis were they politically motivated?
I have no idea. I wasn't involved centrally with this. I know that all of the stuff we did, the 2050 election, was clean, but obviously the chairman of the party deals with the centralised process for a general election, so I can't speak to that. I'm sorry.